This podcast has been brought to you by Voyager's World. We are building the most amazing hospitality network. Please visit our website, join us for free, and start participating.
I have here Dan Krueger, and this is an awesome dude. Actually, looking at his Facebook page, I feel like I'm as lazy as the guy that designed the Japanese flag. This guy is active, and we have a very interesting story of interacting online for more than a couple years now, but we never met. So let's fix that at the first opportunity. And until then, here's Dan. Welcome to our podcast, man.
Thanks, Milton. It's good to meet you.
Yeah. So Dan has been in touch with me since around the time that I did that run, right?
I believe so.
And because you represent or you do marketing for Spartan Races, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So, I'll give you the sort of how it happened and then how I found you and everything. But I was never a runner. Okay, I was always I always would joke I'm only running if I'm getting chased. And in 2011, I started getting in shape with my wife, and I had always been in shape. Then I had kids in my 30s and got out of shape, and then a few years back, 2011, we had some people over, and I had been working out in the gym for some time now, and they said, "Oh, there's this 5K mud run. Do you want to do it with us?" And I was, I don't think so. I'm not a runner. But come on. And after a few beers, I said, "Okay, I'll do it." And then we ended up signing up for this mud run, and I trained a little bit for it. I ran a couple times a week for a few months, and in addition to just going to the gym. And we did this run, and it was fantastic. We had a blast, and so I said to my wife, "Let's do another one of these." And this run happened to be in April, so I looked online and I found this thing called Spartan Race, and they were having a run at Blue Mountain, which is about an hour from our house. I said, "Hey, there's one in July. Let's do it." She said, "Sure." So we signed up. I said, "Let's do the earliest one in the morning because July, it's hot. You want to get it done early."
Yeah.
And so we signed up. We didn't realize that was the competitive wave at the time. There was no elite back then. And so we got there, and I said to my wife, because she's a better runner than I am, I said, "You'll stay with me, right?" "Oh, yeah, I'll stay with you." And so we got in line, and we started running, and we're about a mile into the race, and one of the volunteers says to my wife, "Hey, you're the second place woman right now." And she's very competitive, and so I said, "Go!" And she took off. She took first place at the race and won this big Spartan sword. And we were hooked after that. It was sort of, we started doing races all the time and signing up for races. And long and the short of it, I was on the Spartan Street team, which was sort of a grassroots marketing, sort of word of mouth. You would share codes with your friends so that they would get a discount and you could get a free race. And from doing so many of them, my background is in television production and online marketing, and I had met Joe DeSena, who's the founder of Spartan Race, and I had mentioned something about, it would be great to do some sort of blogger outreach, which is something that I had done for a few years, where you reach out to bloggers and people online who are already talking about either running or fitness, or in this case, this particular, or talking about Spartan Race, or a competitor, and turn them onto it. Give them a free race, or let them give a free race away to one of their readers, just so it starts that earned media marketing. And he was like, "Let's do it." And so for the past few years, I've been doing that. I've been doing monthly outreach campaigns to bloggers in all sorts of demographics and regions and locations, and in other languages as well. And so that's sort of how I found you, Milton. From your blog and podcast and everything. And anybody that wrote about fitness or something like that, I would sort of see what they're writing about, and then
You follow it. Yeah,
so,
that is a similarity, not too similar, but there is something common between us. Is that I was not a runner too. You say you are not a runner,
right,
and I was not a runner until I did the cross country, but you were in shape before. I wasn't. I was a true couch potato before
right.
that. It's not that I just wouldn't run unless I'm being chased. No, I wouldn't run at all. I remember that running, the last running that I could remember was, well, there were two that I could remember. One was in school, probably like seventh grade, in which there was this school competition, and of course I ended up being on it because I was in that school, and I hated it. I finished last, and the other kids were making fun of me, and my parents were kind of being mean to me for that. Oh, you should have tried better, harder or something. And I hated the entire thing. So I thought, fuck running. And I did everything I could imagine to avoid uh, sports practice that involved any kind of running. So there was a lot of soccer playing, and I avoid that, and the running, and I would try to one way or another not do it. The other last time that I remember running was when, probably 2 or 3 years later, we were in front of a football stadium uh, with some friends, and there was a gang of other boys that came around, and somehow they start bullying us, and they start beating us up. And one of the boys got beat pretty bad, and everybody else ran away. I was one of the ones that ran away. Um, that's probably the last that I remember running away. And in 2010, I was getting upset with that. Not just that I was out of shape. I was seriously out of shape. I was really fat and not feeling well sometimes. I would, get out of breath by walking. It was that bad. I would be, walking IKEA, shopping, and when I saw the chairs, I had to stop and sit down for a while to relax. So it was pretty bad. Then the a certain discontent with that started to grow, an emotional response to not just not being in shape, but not being well. I felt that, wow, if whatever that I decide to do, I can't, because I can't perform anything. So the emotional dissatisfaction with that grew to a certain point that I thought I need to challenge myself. I need to do something that will be uh, out of my comfort zone, but also completely out of the normal for me. So it will shock the system. And I was one day watching YouTube video about one of my favorite comedians, Eddie Izzard. And then, going through the links, I found this video from BBC with a documentary where he ran around England. And I thought, wow, what the fuck? The guy is not even a runner, and he ran 47 marathons in 51 days.
Wow.
And he didn't self-destruct. He showed on the videos. He showed that he went through a lot of pain, a lot of problems. He trained for 5 weeks, and everybody that he was training with was saying, "You're crazy. You cannot do it. You will get hurt. This is insane." But one of the guys said that it's crazy. You shouldn't do it. But I see that you're going to do it, so I'll train you. I'll help you. If you're going to crash, at least I'll be there to make sure you don't crash as bad. And the guy gave him a lot of good training, and he had a nice support team, and he did it. He finished the 1,100 miles
Wow.
around England. But that put a idea in my mind: if he can do it, I can do it, because he wasn't it's like if Dian Carnazes runs across the country, and he did once, right? Actually, he did once and a half. First, he did about half of it right after when he finished the 50-50. Then he ran out like halfway back. But then later, in front of the cameras, he ran, the entire way. But when he does that, I expect him to do it because he's a
Right.
super athlete. If, let's say Lance Armstrong said, "Oh, I'm going to run coast to coast," I would expect him to finish because, steroids or no steroids, he's still a super athlete.
Sure, sure.
Even with that factor or not. If you say that you're going to run across the country, I will say, all right, I'll just put on the calendar the day that he
I will-
says that we will finish, and I'll be there because I expect you to finish now. But when Eddie Izzard did that, I thought, shit, this is a regular guy doing
Right.
it. And I think that what ended up inspiring a bunch of people was exactly the fact that I was a couch potato. I was not an athlete. I just decided to do it, and I figured out a way, which is I would say 80% of it is how to manage your own mind, and 20% of it is the body. Yes, there is a lot of technology, a lot of things that you need to learn on how to manage your own body, but there is a lot more to learn about how to manage your own mind.
Sure.
And so that was that's just this distinction that I like to make. Sometimes I tell people I'm not in any way applying a value to what you do. I'm just pointing out that you are an athlete, and then you became a better athlete, right? And now you
Well,
are
and
getting
that
into a different thing. I was not an athlete at all, so my
well,
expectations are very low.
Well, I went from, high school, I wrestled, and that's serious. That was 20 years from the last time I had run.
Uh-huh.
That was and running with wrestling, it was under protest most of the time.
Uh-huh.
So, they said, "Oh, you have to run 2 miles before practice," and we'd, cut corners and not run as much, but we did wrestling. But then after high school, I went to college and I lifted weights and stuff, and then when I got married, and I sort of stopped for 10 years, and I gained 30 pounds and got out of shape and didn't go to the gym. And then, in 2009, 2010 is when I started getting back into the gym, and you don't your body doesn't burn off the calories like it does when you're in your 20s. When sooner or later in your 30s, every year you gain a couple of pounds, and then soon a couple of pounds turns into 20 pounds or 30 pounds, and you don't realize it. And so I did. I lost 30 pounds, just from going back to the gym. And then again, like I said, I started the running and everything. And over the course, I still, even doing Spartan Race and everything, I still did not consider myself a runner. Like I'm more of a, now I'm a CrossFitter who also runs sometimes.
Yeah.
And, but anyway, I've done a marathon, I've done a 50K, a number of half marathons, and a ton of Spartan races and mud runs and that sort of stuff. But
I never ran the Spartan. I don't know if you know it.
oh,
I have been like talking, and I have friends, a lot of friends that did it. Uh, but it never happened, mostly for a coincidence of my schedule being, traveling most of the time.
sure,
And then the times that I was in America, either I was busy with some project, or at the day of the race I was going to be traveling again. And also, I am very sure that I want to do that with a bunch of friends. I'm in my mind, the way that I want to run a Spartan race or any kind of obstacle or mud run or whatever it is, I want to do that as a party. It's a thing to put some friends together and have a great time, and do that in the afternoon, because then you finish, you're going to drink some beer, and really focus on the fun of it. And I tend to think that way because, not being an athlete and then facing the challenge of having to run long distance, the only way that I knew I could make it possible was to first learn how to love it and then learn how to do it. Okay, loving has to come first. You cannot, you know, I, you know, if you're an adult, you have discipline, and you need to do something you don't like for an hour or a few hours or a day, you do it. But if you need to do something voluntarily, not making money out of it, right? And then just by your choice, and it's going to be a miserable experience, and it's going to last for 4 months, it's going to be way too difficult, right?
Sure,
So,
sure.
but if I knew that if I loved every day of it, no matter how much pain there was, as long as I'm not self-destructing and not creating damage that will stop me, I knew I could do it, but I had to find how to love. And then when I think of any other exercise, I always ask myself that, okay, so if I'm going to do Spartan, how am I going to have a great time? You know, if I go competitive, it will be fucking horrible because there will be, of the other 100 racers there, a
It's
hundred of
it's
them will
much
be
more
better than me.
intense.
And it's
Yes.
going to be frustrating. But if I go with, as a thing where you're surrounded by friendship, and
In
you
an
are
open.
not, and you're expecting to laugh all your way through it, and make fun of it, and really enjoy the social aspect, I believe it's going to be much easier for me. And also,
Well,
yes.
no, what I was going to say is here's what's interesting about it. Even if you didn't go with a group of friends,
Hmm.
what's really cool about the Spartan race is you meet people, you'll end up pacing with someone that, or a group of people who are in your same
Yeah.
physical shape or
Hmm.
ability. So
Hmm.
you end up sort of running with the same pace of people no matter what time you go out. And you see these people, you meet these people, and you develop relationships with these people because you're suffering together through
Yes.
this miserable experience that while you're
Yes.
doing it, you're thinking, what the
Hmm.
hell am I doing? And when you're done and you have that medal around your neck and you go
Uh,
through this through the finish line, you're like, that was great. Let's do it again.
yes.
You
Yes.
it's
That's how I did Ragnar actually.
I've
I
never
didn't
done one of those.
yeah, I didn't sign up, and I thought, well, when Ragnar comes, if there is an opening, I'll get in, because it's a 12-person team. It's
Right.
the odds that someone will be sick or for whatever reason not be able to do it are very high. So during
Sure.
the last few days, right before Ragnar, the team start asking for people to fill in. So I just waited for that, and that was a great decision because I joined a team from Connecticut,
Hmm.
and by consequence, you make 11 new friends. You
Exactly.
are going to spend 2 or 3 days, because that is the party at the end. You spend a day there. So
Sure.
you spend 3 days with 12 people. I guarantee you, at least 2 or 3 will become your friends, and that's exactly what happened to me with the Ragnar. And I always tell people, don't sign up. Wait, and unless your friends want to do it, then of course.
Sure.
But if you don't have a team, don't worry. Don't sign up. Just wait and do it at the last moment.
Somebody
Um,
else drops
yeah,
out. Yeah,
and
sure.
plus I didn't have to pay.
That's
I,
great.
yeah, my also nobody remembered to change the name of the other guy and put my name, and so I was never on the list. I don't care. I was not doing that for
Sure.
record.
It's just the
Yeah,
experience of
exactly. But then I didn't have to pay for anything. I just not even the hotel. I ended up paying for nothing. They gave me. I think I brought. I they contact me like a little more than 24 hours before the start,
wow.
and all I did is I got a bag. I threw some clothes in, and another pair of shoes or something like that in a sleeping bag, and a salami. Okay, because that's what I eat during the, yeah. Because I don't eat gels. I don't take anything sweet during the running. Um, so I eat high fat and high protein during long distance.
I do
So
the I bring beef jerky sometimes
yeah,
in longer distance ones.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like dry salami and I cut it. So I put my pocket knife and a salami and some clothes, and oh yeah, and I ran wearing a kilt. So I remember one day we were at some point we were by the racetrack. That is a NASCAR racetrack south of Miami, and we were there waiting for one of the runners, and I was just leaning against a wall, wearing a kilt with the black t-shirt, and I had a knife and I was cutting a piece of salami and I was eating, right? And someone said, oh, and then later Milton is going to do that part at night that is 12 miles and in the middle of the night and through the Everglades. And that part you have to do alone. There is no support vehicle for that bit. And then someone asked me, hey, Milton, are you nervous about that? And I look at him with the salami and the knife. I said, do I look nervous to you? That was such a movie
That's
line at
funny.
that moment.
That's funny.
No,
That's
no,
funny.
not at all. But it is tough. It's tiresome because of sleep deprivation.
Sure,
I
sure.
noticed that I deal with other problems a lot better than I deal with sleep deprivation. And recently I tried to run a marathon uh, overnight. So we started at midnight, and the plan was to end at 6, and we would go from South Beach to Hollywood Beach in Florida. And at 24 miles, I was sleeping and running at the same time. That was dangerous. It wasn't on the street. It was on boardwalks and
Wow.
sidewalks. But still, I was falling asleep, and I would wake up. Have a super short dream, just a few seconds, and I would wake up and I'm running. So I thought, okay, I'm stopping. I'm not doing this.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that could be scary.
yeah, we stopped at 24 miles. But that's because, of course, I would get better if I practice running, without sleep. But I didn't, and also made a mistake. I should have started earlier, because I was tired from the entire day, and then you wait until midnight to
Oh,
start. So you are really pushing the envelope a
I
lot
don't think
worse.
I could do that. I don't
Yeah.
think I could do that. I need sleep.
Yeah, no, me too. I realized the same. Fuck that. I'm not running at night anymore. Not doing that.
So how much weight did you lose when you started running, when you from couch potato to where
The
you are now?
the first time I lost 55
Wow.
pounds. Yeah. Then I gradually gained because I don't diet. I don't. I like to think of diet as a lifestyle. Like,
That's
and
how
I'm
I am
very and
too.
I'm very seasonal. Like some seasons I just do whatever. Other seasons, like now, I am in a more high protein because
Hmm.
I know that this summer I'll walk a lot, I'll do a lot of hiking, so I'm switching to high protein, except for beer. I love beer. So, but I'm eating very little pasta. I don't order bread. I don't, occasionally I eat some chocolate, but not much. I probably eat about 10% of the chocolate that I used to eat, just a few years back.
Wow.
I
Okay.
was a regular chocolate eater, and now I'm very occasional, and I buy very small. Um,
Yeah.
and also I rarely eat rice, other grains, things like that. I rarely eat any of it. But that's not a diet that I do just for one simple purpose. It's the entire
Sure.
season, and I want to close this summer season with running El Camino de Santiago in Spain. So I'm
Nice.
doing I'm doing a motorcycle ride from here, and then I'll do El Camino. So El Camino, I'll probably lose some 30 pounds doing that. It's a
Wow.
6 week run. Um, and and so I lost 55 on the first one. I gained probably around 30. Then I did the second one in 2014. I lost around 30. doing that. And since then I probably gained 30 again, so it goes like
You
that. But
fluctuate.
yeah, right now I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'm not, because I used to be really fat. Like uh,
wow.
now it's okay. But the one difference is this between before 2011 and now. No matter if I am 30 pounds heavier or if I am super lean, any day, if I have to run after the bus, if I have to cross the road, if I need to go to the overpass and back and go to the other side, anything like that in normal life, I just run, I go, I sprint, I know how to breathe, I know how to accumulate some oxygen in the few seconds before going up the stairs. I know how to manage in such a way that not just I can do it, but also I do it and I feel proud. I feel that, oh, this is not the way I was until 2011. I feel that I'm the new me. And
That's
and that feeling is irreplaceable. So sometimes out of the blue, like I am staying in a house now that is right on the edge of Kiev, and I am in Ukraine now. Uh, so I rented this apartment in this house, and just 2 blocks away is the end of the city. That means it's woods from here, and there are trails. And one of the trails goes back to the nearest metro station. So sometimes I get out of the metro, and with whatever I have, usually I have a backpack with computer and stuff like that, and I just go and take the trail. And I don't like to run it fast. I just do a very light jog, enjoying that I'm in the woods. There is no pollution. The air is clean. It smells nice.
that's
And
great.
I absolutely enjoy that moment. And while before 2011, I would avoid being out in the woods at all costs. You know, I would be on the side of the road. So that difference is permanent. And now, as I plan my life seasonally, usually I put at least one challenge on each season. So like I was going to do a lot of walking, in the snow this winter, and I did some of it. I decided, okay, so this summer I'll do El Camino, which is 500 miles. Uh, and I'll probably next winter or next spring, I'll probably do PCT, Pacific Crest Trail. Uh,
That's great.
I'm not sure of which month I'll do it, but I'm planning to do it. And I need to study it, see how you place it in the seasons. So if you're going from the north, then I bet it would be better to start in spring. But if I need to think of that. I didn't put the hours to
I read
figure
that book
out.
and
Yeah,
saw the movie The Wild. Did you see
yeah,
that?
I love
Yeah.
that movie. Yeah,
Yeah, the book was really good too. The
yeah,
book was a little deeper than the movie,
yeah.
but
The,
yeah, it was good.
yeah, talking about inspiration. During an interview in Texas, I was giving an interview to a local reporter in a town that I can't remember the name now, and she asked, uh, were you inspired by the movie Forrest Gump to do this run? And I said, no, not at all. I just felt like running. And that was my line. But I was not inspired by that movie. Of course, it was in the back of my mind because people are always saying, "Oh, you are doing that like Forrest Gump," So you keep that in mind. But
Right,
but that was
right.
not the reasoning for that. What really inspired me was Edgeezer, because I knew I was going to do something. I didn't know what. But when I saw that he did that run, I thought, okay,
That's
this is it. And
well,
actually, I saw that when I was in Boston, and about a month later, I was traveling by motorcycle from Boston to Florida, but I zigzag along the East Coast, and and I visit a friend in New York, and he's an athlete. Like but his sport is skiing. So he travels the world and likes to ski, and he's very good. But he can run. He can run very well. He's very lean and athletic. And he said to me, I don't I don't doubt that you would do it. I know that it's a major challenge, but I would not doubt that you do it. But you have to promise me that you're going to read this book first. And he gave me his copy of Born to Run.
Oh yeah, I read that.
And that book was the formula. I'll tell you, that's not the intention of the book. The intention of the book is more inspirational and it's historical, right?
Yes.
But I didn't have any running style before. I didn't have any running culture to protect. Right. So when I got the book and I read about the Tarahumaras, I thought this is the way to think about it. You know, they love it. And from the beginning, I tried to learn and think of it as a Tarahumara Indian. And then thinking of the fun first. You know, this is about having a great time, exploding some energy. And that's how it worked for me. You know, it was like I did all my training at night, but I used to sleep during the day, so I was not sleep deprived. But I was in South Beach where it's very hot, and I was training during summer. I was training during summer, so I knew I was going to be running through the winter, so I wanted to do all my training in as the coldest condition possible. So I was doing the running from midnight to early in the morning, and I would sleep, then get home and sleep until middle of the afternoon. But I did that every day. And if it was raining, then that's when I did my long runs. So raining at night got the coldest, and that's how I train. And if occasionally I would do any training during the day, I would stop by Pizza Rustica in South Beach and I would get a box, but they have this little square box with a medium-sized, it's a medium-sized pizza or a big-sized slice, whatever you want to consider it. And I would run carrying the pizza, you know, and people would see me going by and they would go like, what the fuck is going on? Or I would buy a big burger at Burger King and run with the burger, you know. So to me, it was always fun. It was always making fun of it because I knew that if I tried to look at this as a serious competitive runner, I'm doomed. That's not what's going to happen.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Born to Run, so I'll give you a sort of a little bit of backstory. But like I said, I've been doing television production and video production for quite some time. Mm-hmm. And before I was working with Spartan Race 3 years ago, I had the opportunity to go to Nicaragua for the Fuego y Agua survival run. They needed someone to help produce and film a documentary that they were going to be doing down there. And I was asked to go because I could run and I could also videotape and produce and hang with the runners. So I was, athletic enough that I would be able to go where they were going and jump ahead and do all of that. But I met some of the most inspirational people that really, prior to that, I had only done some Spartan races, nothing longer than, 8-10 mile run, maybe a Spartan Beast, which was 12 or 13 miles, but I had no intentions of ever doing an endurance, an ultra or anything like that. And the people that I met there, I'm looking at these people and saying, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Same thing what you were saying with Eddie Izzard, but I met some just brilliant and smart and really inspirational people. And one of the people I met there, Eric Orton, he was the trainer of the author of Born to Run. He was in the book. He was written about in the book. He lives in Jackson Hole and he trains. He actually has a line of shoes called B2R, Born to Run shoes that he sells and everything. But anyway, when I got home from that experience, I signed up for my first marathon. I said, all right, I'm going to do a marathon. And as soon as I got home, I signed up for a marathon that was going to be on my 40th birthday, October 13th. I got home in, I guess it was February, so I had quite some time to train. And, and it was just, and I trained all year, and I basically, my training was a little non-conventional than normal marathon training. I would do CrossFit Monday, Tuesday. I would run on a Wednesday, CrossFit Thursday, Friday. Saturday would be a light day, and then Saturday I would be in a race, like a Spartan race or a half marathon or something like that. And I did that for about 4 months leading up to my marathon on my 40th birthday. So I would do a race almost every single weekend.
Cool.
And actually, like I said, going to Spartan Race, you develop these relationships. Well, all of my friends now are basically either through CrossFit or through Spartan Races. And a few of my friends were signed up for a 50K in August. And this was about 4 weeks prior to it. They're like, hey, you should do it. This is before my marathon. They're like, you should do this 50K with us. I said, oh, no, I can't do a 50K. I'm not in that kind of shape. Oh, no, come on, you can do it. You can do it. And I said, you know what? Why not? Let me give it a shot. So I went in with no expectations of time or trying to finish in any particular given amount of time. And so I trained, and the furthest I had run, even training for the 50K, was 14 miles as a training run. And I went out there with 6 of my buddies, and I did it, and I finished. It took me about 6 hours, and you know, the first 13 miles I was or first 16 miles I was very controlled with my pace and just going slow and doing a very easy run. And then there's a turnaround to come back. And then it got a lot more difficult, but I finished, and I was very proud, and I was happy that I had done it. And so I ran a 50K before I even ran a marathon. So it was an interesting experience, but a lot of fun. But
yeah, sometimes people rarely ask me for running advice, and now I'm happy for that, because I don't like to give advice. Because usually people, they ask for your advice, but your advice is competing with what they see on TV, what they hear at the running club, and what 10 other people tell them, And then you become one voice in 20, and I don't like that situation.
Sure.
Either because I believe that all the systems work. It's just that some system will work better for you, and some will work not as good, but if you persist long enough, any system will work. And my system is is the most unusual one. I would tell people, like, if you are a CrossFitter and you are training for long distance, I would say, go do your CrossFit, then go to the club and dance salsa for 6 hours, and then go running, because you'll be destroyed. You'll be completely exhausted. So you are not simulating the beginning of your run. You'll be simulating the end. That's the part that is difficult. The beginning, anybody can do. Anybody that walks can walk the first half of a marathon. All right.
Sure.
The first half is not a challenge at all. But then you have to do the second half.
Exactly.
And that's where
it becomes all mental there.
Yeah, it becomes a world of pain. But now imagine, you do CrossFit, dance salsa, 6 hours, get drunk, and then go run. You will be simulating the last 10 miles, right? It will feel the same shit. And if you do that many times, you will learn how to handle it, So, because in my mind, in my opinion, your body doesn't need training for it anymore. Once you learn to have proper form, what you need is, and then do some training just to keep that form even while you are tired, there is no more running training to do. You know how to run. Now what you need is time training. You need to learn how to keep that pace or that style of running after 20 miles, after 30 miles. No, that's where you need to create that muscle memory. And the best way to create it is by being exhausted already, and also you have to imagine that if you're running 100 miles, you'll be sleep deprived, so you have to do occasionally training without sleeping, just to get the mechanics of it, which something I
Absolutely.
never did, so I don't know how to do. But if I was going to train for that, to help someone, to coach someone, I would say that. I would look at the lifestyle of that person and create certain challenges that the person has to run through that. And then, or I used to take the bus. I would get out of the house with my iPhone and, and the clothes and, the iPhone, and I would put on my backpack some toilet paper. Because when you're training to run long distance, you learn to carry toilet paper with you.
Toilet paper or
Yeah,
baby wipes.
yeah, and water. Uh,
Yep.
but I would make sure that I would leave with just enough money to pay for the bus once, and no credit card, no money, and then I would take a bus and go 30 miles away in any
Wow.
direction, and then I would go back. But then the only way back
Is
is
to run.
the only way back without affecting my dignity,
Right.
because then I could hike,
Yeah.
I could, hitchhike. But without affecting my dignity would be either I run this or I walk this. But I'll have to get back on foot no matter what. So this way I take the discipline out of the equation, because discipline is something I don't have. So why try
Well, I
to
would like
build it?
so
Yeah. Why count on something that I don't have? Right? So I just put
right. No,
myself
no,
in, yeah, yeah. I just put
I
myself
know
in
exactly what you're
situations that I
saying.
have no way out. So I take the bus, and I would go to places like bad neighborhoods, places that I don't want to stop anywhere, or that I
Sure.
would have to go back in deserted roads, or something. Um, so always training in a way that doesn't depend on being disciplined, because I think that that's bullshit. People that say, oh, I did that with a lot of discipline, but when you look at their life, they had a lot of discipline before. They didn't create the discipline running. It's a too short time. Discipline is something that you build up over years, right? And if you
Sure.
have
Sure.
only 5 weeks to train for an event, that's not enough time to build discipline. So you better build a method that works. If it depends on discipline or not, who cares, right? As long as you get it done. And I would always have this. I would leave this beer at the perfect temperature. I knew that I had an awesome beer at home. So I would run thinking of it. Okay, I want
Oh
to get
yeah.
home, and drink that one. That will be my prize.
That's your reward.
That's my reward. And then some people go, "Oh, you drink beer after," or
It's
sometimes I
okay.
drink a beer before running. People go like, "Are you drinking alcohol before you run?" I said, this is, motherfucker, I'm not driving a bus. This is just a little run. I'm not assuming any responsibility here. It's just have fun, run a little bit, have fun. That's why I love hashing. Are you aware of hashing, or did you participate on that?
What is that? Like
Hashing, hashing is
geoterm?
a network, of a worldwide network of people that like to drink beer and run in that order. They drink some beers in the parking lot usually, and then they go out on a run, which usually is like a treasure hunt. That is a trail to follow. You don't know where you're going. You don't know how far it is. You see how similar it is to the Tarahumara thing. You don't know where you're going. You don't know how far. You don't know how difficult. The only
Wow.
thing you know is that you better have fun. That's the only thing you really know. And then you've discovered the way, and it's confusing and it's funny. And then when you get to the end, there is a party. There is a kind of a ceremony, which is the celebration of it. To me, hashing is addictive. Like
Wow.
I am always looking forward to the next one, because I know I'll meet some friends, drink with them, and we run. Sometimes we do also variations of it, like everybody runs dressed as a superhero, or everybody runs wearing a red dress,
That's
or
funny.
we run from bar to bar. I did that too, even during my transcon, like in a city called uh, Rosemary Beach in Florida. I met with some hashers there, and they said, "Oh, we are going with you all the way to Destin." Destin was 26 miles away. I thought, "Okay, nice. We'll do a marathon distance today. Fine." And we kept going. We stopped at every bar along the way. Okay, like we stopped 5, 6 times. Every bar that they like, you know. So we stopped 5, 6 times to drink beer. We got so drunk that I don't remember crossing the bridge. I don't remember much, but it was an amazing day. We had so much fun. You know, it was in the beginning. It was 2 hashers with me. Then it was 5. Then it was 6. Then 2. You know, and people keep showing up for that
That's
event.
funny.
It's incredible, and also,
That
of
sounds like
course,
a lot of fun.
it is a lot of fun, and it's everywhere. In what city are you?
I'm just outside of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that is a major hash group there. I'll connect you with them. So,
Okay.
but the idea is this: when you go, of course, some people like more beer, others like less. You know, you drink as much as you want. You know,
Sure.
and then you run and you celebrate and you drink as much as you want. The secret to really enjoy it is this: they will tell you that there are some things that you have to do, or you have to do like this, and you have to do that, and you have to do that. But those are not rules, actually. Hashing doesn't have rules, it only has traditions. So everything they say, you agree. You say, okay, that's how I'll do it. But then you do your way anyway. Okay, so just enjoy it. And they are going to make fun of you, and you make fun of them. All right? It's like a tribe where everybody is just being a kid. You know, everybody's just, you know, they are serious 6 days a week. There is one day that they just want to be kids, and they want to curse and sing songs full of you know, cursing and stuff, and say silly stuff, and have a few miles. You know,
That sounds fun.
in most places in America, hashing is between 3 and 6 miles. Okay,
Wow.
usually it's a short. It's not a running club. You know, it's a drinking club with a running problem. So
That's
that
great.
way you understand it. So you know, it's just relaxing. Okay, so I totally recommend, if you can handle having a beer before a run. Um,
Absolutely.
Totally go for it, and they are going to ask you who sent you to the run, and because in hashing we have hash names. You know, it's like Indians have their Indian names, right?
Right.
And my name is S on the Rocks, and one day,
Excellent.
yeah, S on the Rocks. One day I'll explain in video what's the story of that name. So they are going to ask you, so who brought you to the hash, and you say S on the Rocks, and that's the protocol.
That
So yeah,
sounds great. I
yeah,
definitely want to do one.
yeah. Also, hashers in any city that you go around the world. Let's say you fly to Berlin one day. You get online, you figure out where are the hashers, when is the next run. You just show up. You just show up with like 5, 10 bucks to help pay for the beer, because they will supply the beer, you know. So you bring a few
Okay.
dollars or a few euros in that case, and just show up, and they will welcome you. And if you are like me, you show up and then you say, guys, I don't have a place to stay, can anybody give me a couch? And someone will host you, right?
That's
You know,
great.
it's that friendly. um, and then later there are other resources like that. I use couch surfing to travel a lot as well. So sometimes I'm going to a city, I start messaging people, you know, I need a place, and someone offers a place to stay. So I rarely even use hotels. You know. So
So you're not married or anything.
I used to be, now I'm free. But a lot of my friends that are hashers hashers or couch surfers, they are married. They travel with their wives. Some of them travel with their kids. Some of them travel in bicycles. Others in motorcycles. Others in RVs. Some of them hitchhike. So there is no limit to that. Um, of course, sometimes you want privacy. If I couch surf several days in a row, it's a lot of socializing too. So
Sure.
occasionally I feel that I need to reset. And then my favorite way, if the weather is nice, I camp. Then I go and I spend a couple of days camping alone. And that is my recharge.
That's cool.
The introvert side of me, needs that. And if the weather is not great, then yeah, go to a hotel. Get a hotel alone. But also a lot of times it happens that, especially now, because I'm doing this for many years, I have plenty of references in all the websites where I participate. Sometimes I go to a city and someone is leaving the city for a trip. They ask me to take care of their home. So then I have the house and I'm alone.
That's perfect.
And I can be quiet. So that happens very often as well. Last winter in Miami, I was actually house sitting for other people for 6 weeks in a row. So I didn't have to
Wow.
pay for lodging, and I just had to walk their dog once a day. That's it.
That's great.
That was easy. So I tell people, travel more and run more or adventure more. Some people like other sports, of course, or like diving, or whatever it is. By the way, I have a friend in Brazil that he travels. He goes to a different country every 2 or 3 months and runs a marathon.
Wow.
So I told him, okay, keep an eye on the schedule when you're going to a place and that is a possibility of doing a Spartan. Then I'll get you a code. You sign in. And he said, yeah,
I think you'll really like it too. It's the
yeah,
same kind of
I will.
like you said with like with hashing and stuff. You meet people, you become friends. Like with your Ragnar as well.
Yeah.
You develop relationships with these people from these experiences that you do together, and they become lifelong friends, and it's great.
Yes, I bet
You
it
know.
is. And actually, if I can suggest an idea for marketing, it's worth as much
Sure.
as you're paying for it. Uh, in the videos, it shows the action of it, and it's amazing. The videos are cool, and it shows the people running and jumping this and fire there, and there is smoke here and mud there, and people are out. But it doesn't show as much people celebrating, having fun, camping around it. The friends having a great time, and I know it shows. I'm just suggesting it
No,
should
I know what
show
you're
that
saying.
more, because that is what will attract the guys that like this kind of run. They already know it. You don't need to win them. They already
Sure.
know, and they are looking forward to the next one. The guy that you need
Sure.
to win is the guy that didn't do it yet, that thinks that it's boring
Right.
or thinks that it's competitive. Then you show a video in which people are having a blast, among their
Right.
friends, celebrating, from the parking lot to the run, to the camping, to the bar, and you see them celebrating the event as well. That wins guys like me, you know.
Sure.
Not me, because I already decided that I'll do it, but I mean guys like me that are not athletes yet, but they could go and really have a great time. And that will, in some cases, inspire them to just do more of that. And
Sure.
in some other cases, because now they are surrounded by people that are athletic, inspires them to become more athletic as well.
Well, that's the goal is to get people off the couch.
Yeah,
And once they experience this, you know, there's no turning back.
Yeah,
It really
yes,
is.
I believe it is contagious. If you go to an event like that, be that Spartan, Ragnar, or whatever, any event where you are surrounded by those people, you have to understand those people look good. You know, they are attractive and they are fun. They are having a great time. You know,
Sure.
so
I think social media helps as well
it does.
because
Yeah.
especially if you look at the sort of curve of obstacle course racing and social media like Facebook and all over the past 4 or 5 years,
Uh-huh.
it's you know it's going up like this because people share these images. Same with CrossFit too. You know,
Yeah.
you have these pictures of people lifting heavy weights or jumping over fire or climbing
Mm-hmm.
walls and crawling under barbed wire, and then they share it on their Facebook pages and their profiles, and people see it and say, "Wow, you look great. I want to do that. What are you doing? What
Yeah.
is that?" And then it's sort of it's been growing exponentially with
Yes.
that, you know.
Actually, what year did Spartan begin?
I believe it was 2010,
Yeah. So
2009 or
yeah,
2010.
2009, 2010, social media was already significant. You know, so Spartan
Yeah,
is a something that started during the social media age. You know,
sure.
so
Yep.
it totally benefits from that. That's correct.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what else do you do, man? You know, I'm going to pepper this video with a lot of
Sure.
photos of
So,
you, but
so
um,
like I said, I mean, for fun, you know, I'm married. My wife, Gretchen, she is an incredible. She's a health and phys ed teacher.
uh-huh,
She's also a CrossFitter who is now top. She's 24th in the world right now out of 15,000 women in her division,
uh-huh,
and we just finished the CrossFit Open. So she is going on to regionals now, which only the top 200 women in her division go on to regionals, and then the top 20 in regionals get to go to the CrossFit Games in California, which is
mm-hmm,
basically the top athletes in the world go to,
mm-hmm,
and she has a very good chance of making it. So I'm incredibly proud of her. I just finished the CrossFit Open as well, and I coach CrossFit at a couple of different boxes. And you can. I'm a little bit more into CrossFit now than I am into running
uh-huh,
and racing now.
mm-hmm,
But you know, again, it's what I enjoy and what I really like to do. I have two children, Maya and Michael. Maya is 13, and Michael will be 12 in 2 weeks. They both have done Spartan races with my wife and I. We did a Spartan race together in the Bahamas, and Maya has done probably 5 or 6 Spartan races with us. She's done a couple of the stadium races, which are there's no mud in the stadium races. It's all sort of up and down the ramps and the
uh-huh,
bleachers and all of that. And then and Michael has done a couple of Spartan races as well with us. We all went to we went on the Spartan cruise last February in the Bahamas, where it was a cruise ship out of Miami
uh-huh,
to an island with all Spartan racers, and we cruised to the Bahamas. We did a race on the island that was a few miles long, and then
uh-huh,
you just hang out and drink and
uh-huh,
eat food and have a good time for the rest of the weekend and cruise back Sunday night or Monday morning, and that was a lot of fun as well.
uh-huh.
Um, so yeah, I mean, our family is very much into fitness,
Mm-hmm.
you could say.
Yeah, I admire that, and I wish it was that case with me because my father was not into that at all. Then later, when my parents divorced and my mother married a actually a professional soccer player,
Wow.
so now he was very fit. He was playing professionally. But that was just 2 years later. I was moving out of the house because I was older and went to work in another city. So I didn't spend much time with him. I never, not enough time for that idea of exercising regularly and and the lifestyle to transfer to me. Plus, I was a teenager, and teenagers are shit. They don't learn anything, like.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Colorado, but I was raised in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I went to school in Brazil, and then moved back. So
Okay.
it's a mix. It's a culturally, and the accent became all mixed up, and and here in Europe, nobody can tell where I'm from. So that's great. I like it like that.
You're a
Uh,
global you're a global traveler.
a little bit displaced, I would say. Sometimes it feels like I was born in an airplane going over the ocean, so I don't really fit in any country. The sense of uh, nationality matters, and of course, the passport that you have can be a more or less convenient passport. And I understand that my passport is extremely convenient, but uh, that feeling of nationalism, the patriotism, and and all that tendency to take credit for accomplishments that you have no participation,
Right.
like, we saved the French. No, I
Right,
didn't.
right,
I
right.
didn't do anything for the French. Just like I didn't do anything for the Patriots to win. I have no participation. Why would I celebrate that too much? So to me, it doesn't make sense. Rooting for the team is okay. It's a stress reliever, right? But when you get worked up for your home team and you get stressed for that, to me,
Sure.
that doesn't make any sense. You
Well,
know?
if you're from Philadelphia, it would make sense because the Philadelphia Eagles have not done well for quite some time,
Yeah.
and you become very invested in them until they do so bad that you just give up and you say, "Okay, I'll wait till next year."
Yeah. That happened to me in politics, right? I said, oh, okay, I'm Republican. And then you see like one shit after another. I said, oh, no, not anymore. Then you look at the Democrats, not that either. I'll just stay out for a while.
It's a
What
mess.
about that?
It's a mess right now.
Yeah, let me try
It's
for a while
definitely a
to just
mess.
not be anything, and see how it feels. So far, so good.
Well, Milton, I have to run,
Cool.
not
No,
not
this was
literally,
this was
but
fantastic. This was
yeah,
fantastic.
no, it was great speaking to you, and you're an interesting guy, and I'm glad we got to do this.
I appreciate your support, and I'm definitely looking forward to meet you in person. Our paths will cross at some
Me
point,
too.
and keep in touch. I'll be helping promote what you do. I think you are generous with your freebies, and you are promoting something that is good.
I appreciate
That's
that.
very
I appreciate,
positive. So
and I
you
look
can
forward to
count on
meeting
me.
you as well. Maybe we can go hashing sometime
We
together.
will, definitely will. All right, man.
All
Thank you
right,
so
thank you,
much.
Milton. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
We hope you like this podcast as much as we like to produce it. This has been made possible by the efforts of dozens of volunteers, supporters, partners, and visionaries that are helping us build Voyager's World. Please visit our website, join us for free, and start participating.